Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast. We watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
What's up, Bob?
Last movie of the season.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
Not only am I ready to be done,
Same.
but next season is season 10,
Yeah.
which is kind of like a cool milestone for us.
It is a cool little thing.
But more importantly, as Bob can tell you, I chose my category about 3 days ago,
Pretty funny.
and I'm very excited for it.
Well, it's pretty funny because you normally have your stuff picked way in advance.
Okay, you say that, but that hasn't happened for like 3 seasons now.
That's not true. You always have just a big list of stuff.
Okay,
You just have like a
that
big
might
list
be
you pull from.
kind of true.
But for me, it's like I never have stuff chosen ahead of time. I've had this category chosen since like season 4. Because I went, season 10, I'm doing this category. It was like, I'm doing this. This is the thing I'm doing. It's fun. I'm excited about it. I'm really, really hyped. But before we get to that, we have to finish this one first.
Yep.
And I'm kind of mad about it.
Why are you kind of mad about it?
Because this last movie's going to suck, right?
Could be good.
It won't be good, though. Yeah. What was it? Last week you literally laughed and said, you don't know how much I hate you.
No, I said, so you were convinced that it's 100% going to be Suspiria.
Well, no, I'm not saying that 100%. I was just...
You
I
were
thought you were
fairly
doing a
confident
thing.
last week, and I was like, look, Bob, it could be good, it could be bad. I'm not going to tell you. Depends on how much I hate you.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be bad. Because there are plenty of bad remakes. As we've seen from the remake category this season, we had a bad one and one that was okay.
So what do you think it is?
Well, if you really, really hated me, you could scam me and be like, we're going to watch The Green Inferno from Eli Roth, because that's technically a remake of Cannibal Holocaust, and that would be awful.
That'd be funny.
No, that would be mean is what that would be. Or it's going to be Suspiria, which would be fucking sweet. I love that movie. Would love to watch the remake. Or it's going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre from like 2002, because I know you hate that movie. And
No, not from 2002. 2002
What was
isn't great. Not as bad as like the 2018 one.
2018, that's what it was. I'm sorry. I got it mixed up. So any of those are an option. Plus, a slew more. There are plenty of other options in there, too.
Although I will say technically, I think the 2018 one is technically like a requel,
Is it?
which I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how to treat those for this category.
Interesting.
'Cause
Maybe
you
that
know-
has to be its own category.
I don't really want it to be.
There are a couple of options we could do that for.
Yeah.
But before we get to the podcast part of the podcast, do you have any news?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay, I have a couple things. Okay, we'll start with news that is relevant because of something we did recently. In Blu-ray news, 2 movies we have seen on the podcast are getting 4K UHD Blu-rays via Shout Factory. These films are The Stepfather and The Strangers. Both are getting not only the upgrades, but a slew of special features on both discs, including director and actor commentary. These Blu-rays released on September 10th of this year and are available for pre-order now. That's fucking sweet. I don't love Stepfather, but it's a good movie. I had fun with it. And The Strangers is really good. The fact that we're getting a Blu-ray with like a bunch of extra commentary is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was on Shout Factory the other day, and I did see the Stepfather thing, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I like when movies that we get news about movies we've already covered on the show, so we can bring
And I'm
them
like,
back
wow,
in.
why didn't this happen earlier? Especially
Yeah,
when
I
it's
know,
hard to
right?
find, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh.
This constantly happens to us. Mostly, well, to you. You're the one that does the movies. Like, we'll watch a film, and then 2 weeks later, be like, oh, it's coming to 4K Blu-ray. It's like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, I finally actually took the plunge and got a 4K Blu-ray player.
Oh, did you buy one?
Yeah, because like I had a PS4 and that could play Blu-rays, but so much stuff is coming out with 4K
Mhm.
remasters now that I'm like, I don't want to get into buying Blu-rays unless I can get those. So I got one, and I think going forward, this is kind of an aside, I'm going to see if I can try and get Blu-rays before we have to watch stuff on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I have Blu-rays instead of digital stuff.
Well, and then we can do the other thing we've been talking about doing for a long time. If we do that.
Yeah.
We're always cooking something up behind the scenes, and we've been cooking something up for a hot minute. We just haven't gotten around to it.
And everything we cook is just more work for us.
Everything, well, look, 2 chefs, big old kitchen, not enough places, okay?
Some might say too many cooks.
No, not enough cooks. In fact, I would love a third cook. A third cook that could edit the podcast for me would be amazing. But that takes money, something I don't have. Okay, moving on. In new horror movie news, Jeffrey Reddick, writer and creator of the Final Destination franchise, has announced a new project, Bloody Mary Origins. It is to be directed by Lane Schefter Bishop, known for directing The Venice Murders, and it is supposedly a new twist on a classic urban legend. and the goal of the film is to create a franchise with the same staying power and longevity as the Final Destination franchise. That's pretty cool.
Fair enough. Completely aside, have you heard about the new one? Any?
A little bit,
Okay.
but not really.
Fair
There
enough.
was stuff in this article that I pulled this from about the new Final Destination film, but I didn't write any of it down.
I mean, as long as it's still in production.
They're still making it. Yeah.
I just haven't heard about it, so I was wondering.
No, they're definitely trying to like get that done too. But I think this is cool because Jeffrey Reddick is known for working on the Final Destination stuff, and he's like, and it's a fairly popular franchise. So him branching out and trying to do something else is cool and exciting.
No, yeah, that's definitely cool, especially because we haven't seen a lot from him.
Mm-hmm. And also the director is like, I think she got nominated for an Emmy or something. What is it?
Academy Award?
Yes, an Academy Award for The Venice Murders. So like, good
Okay.
director. So I'm excited. It should be cool. And also, I like urban legend type stuff. I think that's fun.
Yeah, like the movie Urban Legend.
Well, that movie is okay.
Not to
Actually,
be confused with Urban
Urban
Legends.
Well, Final Cut. Come on now.
Yeah.
You didn't forget to say the whole title. Okay. This is cool because it's a movie we've seen and it's a thing that you like. In Lost Media News,
Sweet.
8 minutes of never-before-seen footage from Return of the Living Dead 3 has been recovered by filmmaker Dustin Ferguson. Ferguson teased on Facebook that there's a possible restoration and release underway. That is so fucking rad. 8 minutes of footage from that movie that's never been seen by anybody that he just found?
I'm sure it's the real gross stuff.
That's what everyone... I was looking at the comments of the post and, like, everything, and everyone was like, oh, it must be just some of the most fucked up shit you've ever seen.
Because for horror movies, when it's found footage, like just lost from a released film, it's usually stuff that had to get cut for the ratings board.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell kind of what that footage is going to be like if you look at the published product.
Yeah.
And for Return of the Living Dead 3,
It
it's
has to be heinous.
really graphic at points.
It has to be absolutely insane, and that's so exciting. Because Return of the Living Dead 3 is already a gross movie. Like, that movie, I think, objectively, is one of the grosser things we've seen on the show. And the fact that there's 8 minutes of footage that has never been seen is so exciting to me. It's like how when we watched My Bloody Valentine for the first time, you said, well, you have to watch the uncut version. And I watched the uncut version and went, that's like 10 times better.
Oh, the uncut version's so good.
The uncut version is so much better. So I'm hoping that they re-release this with these 8 minutes added in and it like brings the film up. Because I remember that movie being okay. Like, I liked the movie overall, but I had issues with it. So I'm hoping that maybe this 8 minutes of extra footage will bring it up for me so I can like it more. Because that's exciting. It's cool.
No, that's definitely cool. Hopefully it'll be on like a nice Blu-ray release.
Yeah, that's what they were saying in like the Facebook post. So like, yeah, we're trying to work with some people to get like a 4K remake of it and have this footage added. Because I think what they found was a version of the film with that in it. It's not actual cut footage.
That's usually what happens.
So it's like a full piece with those extra 8 minutes. Because the thing he posted was like a picture with the original tape and then the new tape, and the runtime was 8 minutes longer. So I think that's super sweet. Okay, that's all the news I got.
Okay, I forgot some things I wanted to mention.
Cool.
It's not like actual horror news. It's just kind of an aside. First of all, we were talking about long legs last week, I think.
Yeah,
On, what was that, Quarantine?
I think so.
Something like that. And you're like, we're not going to watch anything like trailer-wise. I watched the beginning of the trailer for Long Legs
Mm-hmm.
because it just came on, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Then I turned it off. I can definitely see why people are comparing it to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah? Okay.
100%.
Cool.
Before I even knew what trailer I was watching, I was like, this looks like Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
And then I was like, oh, it's Long Legs. I should turn this off before I
Get things spoiled. for
learn
me.
what this is actually about.
Yeah.
I have no clue what that movie's about.
No,
but
me either. I just know Nicolas Cage is in it, and apparently he's very good.
The other thing I wanted to mention here is more of an aside for Bob. I live by a used bookstore now,
Okay.
like a minute away. And I was there the other day. Do you know what I found a hardcover version of?
What?
Dreamcatcher.
No way. That's sweet. Man, I just need to finish reading that book.
So I picked up a big hardcover copy of Dreamcatcher.
Oh, that's fucking rad. For those of you that don't know, we watched that movie in what, season 2?
Was that season 2?
That was like season 2. Yeah, it was in the Parasite category.
Shit weasels.
Shit weasels. It's a Stephen King movie. Well, it's a
So-
Stephen King book that got turned into a movie.
It's a shitty movie.
It's a bad movie. Great book.
Great book. Batshit insane.
Absolutely insane. If you like weird Stephen King, peak weird
yeah,
Stephen
it is
King.
peak weird Stephen King, but it's very good. Highly recommend the audiobook for that.
Oh, yeah, the audiobook's probably crazy.
Oh, it's really well done.
Yeah, damn. I need to finish it. I haven't been reading a lot recently.
I mean, that's fair. No, I just thought that was cool when I saw it because
No,
I'd
that is
been
rad.
to the. I like that book, and I was like, I kind of want to pick up a physical copy, but all I could ever find in the store was paperbacks.
The paper. That's what I have is a small paperback.
It was like $10, and it was in mint condition. So I was like, oh,
Damn, that's fucking sweet.
what else did I get there? I got Owl Flight because I haven't read that yet, and I've been meaning to.
I don't know what that is.
Mercedes Lackey,
Oh, okay.
author, and then they had a shit ton of the Indiana Jones novelizations.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got the first one
That's pretty sweet.
because I was like, this looks like it's gonna be cheesy fun.
It probably is fun.
Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay, time to do the podcast part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
What movie are you picking today?
Well, we're down to one spot then,
We are.
and I would like a warning beforehand. How mad am I about to be?
Okay. Look. Kind of a, as Bob would say, peel behind the curtain.
We're not. That's not a bit we're keeping. That was I fucked up one time. I fucked up one time, and you keep bringing it up. I meant to say peek, but I combined peel and look.
For the podcast, I tend to be kind of antagonistic towards Bob because that makes better content.
Sure.
And honestly, sometimes I feel really, really bad about it because I'm like, okay, maybe I went a little too far.
Ben, I would tell if you've gone too far.
Well, yeah, I know, but I still sometimes feel bad about it. And so, you know, when I was doing this category, I was like, look, I can't be too horrible to Bob. So I decided to go with something that I thought wouldn't make you absolutely just lose your shit. Instead, I went with something that's going to make you kill yourself.
Oh my god. Oh no, what is it?
Something that I don't think you knew existed.
Oh no.
And is just the title alone is going to make you very, very, very mad. Today we're watching a movie from 2017.
2017.
Yeah, it's newer. Day of the Dead, Bloodline.
Pack it up. No, we're done. Turn off the podcast. Stop the recording. They did not do this to me.
I'm so glad we got this one last because it's probably going to make you just done.
There's no
with
way
this
they're
season.
doing this to me. They can't take the greatest film ever made and ruin it.
So, a little background information. Day of the Dead Bloodline is actually the second remake of Day of the Dead.
So I knew that they did a one earlier.
The earlier one, I think, was less likely to make you mad. This one is the one that'll make you very mad.
Okay.
So that's why I chose it.
You know, I didn't think you could do this to me. I did not think that. Ooh, sorry. I gotta calm down. Well, continue, Ben.
Description. I wonder what they did to Bub.
Oh, what did they? No, Ben. They can't fuck. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. It's an hour and 30 minutes long.
Oh, at least it's not like 2 hours long.
It's rated R.
Oh, thank God.
Review scores.
Oh, they're probably so bad.
IMDb gave it a 3.4 out of 10.
Oh,
Tomato meter, 11%.
11?
Audience score, 9%. This movie's like universally hated. You ready to scream?
Sure. I'm mad already, but we'll see what happens.
Awards, 0 wins, 0 nominations.
Oh, well, at least they know it's trash too.
I'm gonna have trouble with some of these names, by the way, because fun fact, this is apparently a Bulgarian and United States like co-production.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it's filmed over there, I believe.
That's kind of cool.
Jonathan Shaich as Max. He was Richard Fenton in Prom Night from 2008. Sophie Skelton as Zoe Parker. She was Brianna Randall from The Outlander. She was on 48 episodes between 2016 and 2024. Jeff Gum as Miguel Salazar. He was Slick from New Girl on 4 episodes between 2014 and 2016. Marcus Vanko as Baca Salazar. He was Lambert in Unbroken. Mark Smith as Alphonse. He was Officer McHorn, the voice of in Zootopia. Nick Loeb as Derek. He was Dr. Bernard Nathanson in Roe v. Wade. Christina Serafini as Elle. She was Angelina Marchetti from The Young and the Restless. 4 episodes in 2021. Lillian Blankenship as Lily. She was Olivia Valera in Acts of Vengeance. Sherry Watson as Elise. She was the woman singer in Ali. Tanis Zrebrev as Frank. He was Agent Madison in Hellboy 2019.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It's not good.
Yeah, I've heard it's not good.
Hellboy is very hairy.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard. Well, they're making a new one, and it looks okay so far.
Yeah, just the original, 2?
Yeah,
They're
they're
just
really good.
Really good. Liana Chan as Lucy, the doctor in The Hitman's Bodyguard. Nathan Cooper as Savin. He was Nasty Lad Cornhold in The Toxic Avenger 2023.
Oh, well, I haven't seen it yet.
It's not out.
I know. That's what I'm
So,
saying.
you notice how I said 2023?
Yeah.
It's because it's, I think, done film festivals.
Oh, okay.
But it's not out
That's why I
for
was confused.
actual
I was like,
release.
it hasn't come out yet, but I haven't seen it either.
That's what I thought when I was like, what the fuck is it
I was
out?
like, yeah, it came out and I didn't know. I'm pissed.
No, so people have seen it, apparently.
Oh.
Vladimir Mikhailov as Thomas. He was Merc Captain in The Expendables 4. Bashar Rahal as Daniels. He was Russian pilot in Whiteout. Teodora Duhovnikova as Wendy. She was Anna in Omnipresent. London Grace as Phyllis Spielman in this movie. As Claire. She was Jessica in Stasis. Good sign when your actors use a pseudonym for a film. Rachel O'Meara as Dr. Beeman. She was Meredith in Hyperions. Lorena Kambarova as Abby. They were Betty in the 2017 Leatherface,
Oh, okay.
which is the new one. I said 2018 earlier.
It was 2017.
I think it's apparently 2017. And Sandy in Doom Annihilation. You know, the bad Doom movie.
The bad Doom movie, yeah.
And then finally, Debbie Sherman as Linda. They were Lauren in The Vault.
I only recognized some of those, like
Movies.
some of those character names,
Oh, character
which
names.
upsets me because this is like a remake or whatever. So like you
Mhm.
would think that maybe some of the same characters would be the same, but no.
You're going to be mad.
I'm gonna be so mad.
So mad.
I'm already so mad, and I'm holding it back because I want to like or strangle you.
I've been so excited for this recording
I'm
this
so
week
glad you're excited.
because you're going to be screaming at the TV. Director is Hector Hernandez Vicens. He also directed Beach House from 2023. Writers Mark Tonderai. He wrote Hush. And Lars Jacobson, who wrote Baby Blues.
I've heard Hush is really good.
Yeah, not bad. Budget was estimated at $8 million
That's okay.
with a box office turnout of 277,000.
Oof.
Not sure if it's limited release, but
I mean, that would make sense.
that would make sense.
But also, it's a super famous franchise.
Yeah, but it's a remake of a super famous franchise.
True.
Like
and
40
yeah.
years later.
True.
Tagline. You remember the cool one from Day of the Dead?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, no?
I have the poster sitting over there.
You do have the poster sitting
Oh,
over
it's
there.
what? First it was Night of the Living Dead, then it was Dawn of the Dead, and now it is Day of the Dead or whatever.
Yeah. The one for this film is Join the Undying War.
This is going to make me so mad.
It's going to make
This is
going
gonna
to
make me so mad. This is going to piss me off, isn't it? Oh my god. If we get Return of the Living Dead Part 2 style zombies with guns, then I'll break something.
I wonder what they did to Bub.
I'm going to break...
I wonder what they did to Bub.
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Are you sure?
No. But can we move on before I start hating things?
Are you sure you're sure?
I just said no.
You know what the best part of this film is?
What?
I think it released right after Romero's death.
Oh, that actually blows.
Or right... Yeah. Yeah, I think it did right after he died. Because I think it came out in January 2018.
Well, they were like waiting. They were like, well, he's going to die
If he
soon.
died-
We have to release this after he dies, because if we release it while he's alive, he's going to be pissed.
July, 2017.
Oh, it sucks so bad that he died, man.
He was old.
He was old, but he's just one of those people that I think he kind of deserved to live forever.
Bob just
You know?
wanted to meet him.
You're right. You're so right.
All right, well, that's all I got.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. I guess we'll see you guys after the movie. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching Day of the Dead Bloodline.
Yeah. Now, Bob, what do you think of Day of the Dead Bloodline? Do you think it was a comparable film to your favorite film of all time?
No. But that's setting the bar too high, I think, right? That's being a bit unfair.
Do you think it was a comparative film to an okay movie?
No. No, I didn't like it. Well, okay. Look. like I just said, the bar was so high because I love the original film. It's my favorite movie ever. One of the only films we've seen on the show that made me cry, which is crazy. Because I don't know if any other people have ever cried in that during that movie, but it made me cry, damn it. And they took all of the best parts of that film and then threw them out the window and made something else. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if it needed to be a Day of the Dead film. It really didn't, actually. I'd be a lot more upset. I'd be a lot less upset if it was just generic zombie movie with other name. That'd be fine.
90% of the film probably didn't have to be a Day of the Dead film.
No, I would say 90, almost 99.
But there was some similarities that I was like, okay, I can see why it's a Day of the Dead film.
The 1% does not make up for the rest of it, though. Like, they only take vague plot points from the original film. And even then, it's not close enough for it to matter.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just mad about it.
I know you're just mad about it.
Like, I was saying this during bed. I'm so, like, over being angry that I'm just so disappointed. Like, I'm not mad. I feel gross after this movie. We haven't even gotten to what made me feel the grossest. We'll talk about it.
All right, well, I guess I'll do a brief description, and then we can get into the movie. As always, if you're interested in the film, we recommend you go watch it before listening to our review because of spoilers. Now, Bob's shaking his head because he doesn't recommend you watch this movie at all. But with that being said, the general premise to this film is kind of similar to the premise of Day of the Dead. In fact, I would say the premise of the film is exactly the same. There's these people in a bunker, and they're trying to come up with the cure for this infection that's turning people into zombies. We follow a main character lady who is trying to make that cure. And that's the film.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
That's basically it.
Which is, if you're going based on that rough premise, is the plot of Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I said. It's very close in the basic premises. Like, even there's characters that carry over. But a lot of the difference is how they execute stuff, which is why we're going to start talking about that right now.
Yeah.
So, straight off the bat, before we get into, I think, some major differences between this and the original film, we should start with maybe some of the overarching issues we had with the film.
Okay.
I think the one that stand out to me, like right away, is how everyone sounds.
Yeah. Not everyone, just a lot of the characters.
Most of the time. Look, this is, partially a foreign picture, and there's a lot of actors who I don't think spoke English as their first language.
Yeah.
So there's some accent stuff, and there's also some, I don't know, clunky dialogue there that I can maybe forgive. But my real issue here is everyone sounds like they're ADR'd.
Yeah, especially when it's like shots of the back of their head, and it's very clear that they're just not talking and that this is like dubbed over.
And look, a lot of films do stuff like that.
And most of the time it's okay.
Yeah, it's just this film didn't level, I think, the sound of the environment they're in over the newly recorded dialogue. So everything sounds artificial when people talk.
Yeah, and it's like really bad sometimes. Like, there will be people talking, and you're like, well, that doesn't match what their lips are saying or what's happening on screen. That's a bit strange.
Well, the worst thing for me is no one sounds like they're emotionally invested in what's happening.
No, they all sound sort of robotic and, like, unemotional, which kind of blows.
And, that was just kind of a big thing that takes me out of the film.
No, because it makes all of these impactful scenes where people are supposed to be, like, going through some shit or something bad is happening. It just doesn't feel like any of it matters. Like, it really pulls you out of the moments.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think my next big issue was just with effects. Very notably, they used a ton of CGI in this film.
Yeah.
And it didn't look great most of the time. The most evident examples I can think of were, there was a good amount of CGI blood on people, which was kind of weird because they did rely pretty heavily on practical effects for the zombies.
Yeah, most of the zombie stuff was practical.
And I thought that looked really good.
Most of it looked pretty good, yeah.
But then they'd weirdly throw in other CGI stuff. For instance, at one point, the character gets blood. The main character, the girl, gets blood spewed on her face.
Yeah.
And it's very clearly done in post.
Yeah, you can see it like makes her like complexion all funny looking.
There's a ton of stuff like that. At one point, there's a CGI rat.
Yeah, which I thought was really weird.
Because rats are cheap.
Just go get a pet rat and then pick it up and return it when you're done.
Yeah. So, just those two things together, at least for me, really ruined the tension that this film could have potentially had.
Yeah, because it lacks the realism of a film of other zombie films we've seen on the show, you know?
I guess, but the real thing for me is like none of the characters felt emotionally involved in what was happening.
True.
So it just made all their acting seem a lot worse than I think it actually was.
That's totally fair.
Like most of the time I just felt like they were, I don't know, cardboard, because like the performances out of them didn't sound correct.
mm-hmm.
And then you combine that with a lot of just randomly poor CGI being thrown in that made everything look fairly cheap, even though some of the sets were decent.
Some of the sets were pretty cool. I will say I do actually like the bunker in this quite a bit. I think it looks pretty nice.
But yeah, those two things together I think made the film not difficult to watch, but kind of lacking heart.
Yeah, and I think that's a big aspect of this film that it hit me hard because it lacks all of the emotional tension that the original film has. Because in the original film, it very much feels like it's the end, right? It feels like there's nothing can get better. It's only going to get worse. It has the classic Romero like nihilistic feel of like, oh, doom and gloom. This all sucks. It's horrible. But this film didn't feel like that in any way.
No, I mean, not to get into too many spoilers, but by the end of the film, things are kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And
No, things are fucked.
No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares, and guess what, guys? It's fine.
And
Which
again,
is just insane.
I think it comes down to some of the acting stuff that just really doesn't sell it.
Yeah. I know it's a different director, but when you're making a remake of a film like this, I feel like you have to try and pull some of the inspiration from the original, and it feels like they took the skeleton of the original and did not include any of the like meat and like substance from the original film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that really kind of sucks because that's what makes the original film good.
Yeah, I think the point is tonally it's just lacking. With that being said, I guess we can get into maybe some of the things they tried to carry over.
Sure.
And
I think that stuff's kind of interesting.
I don't think worked out because, like I said, they really did try to carry stuff over. Like, it's its own movie, and I could definitely tell where this could have just been its own thing.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of carryovers. For instance, some of the characters are very obviously based on original characters from Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Like we said, there's a lady. I don't know her name.
Her name's Zoe.
Oh, I should have known that. Zoe, who's our fill-in for the main lead of Day of the Dead. She's whatever.
Yeah, kind of a nothing character, for real.
Really just a nothing character. I think her biggest fault is she keeps causing bad things to happen.
And not realizing that it's her fault.
Yeah. And just being self-righteous about it. I found that rather annoying, and then just making bad decisions in general.
That is another problem I have with this movie is characters just make dumb decisions. You're just like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, some movies... Look, I get annoyed when characters make dumb decisions, but I can usually hand-wave it away.
Yeah.
But it's still frustrating. The characters in this movie acted so unlike regular people that I just, ignored it because I couldn't even address it.
No, because it literally ruins the film. It's like, in some situations in a movie, it is admissible because it's like, oh, they're stressed out and they're freaking out, so they made a poor decision in the moment. But these poor decisions are actually just insane.
Yeah, and we'll get back to that, but let's go through these characters.
Sorry,
still.
that made me mad.
There's Miguel.
Yeah.
Who's our Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I think the comment I will make about Miguel in this film is Rhodes is insane.
Rhodes is crazy.
He's like an actual crazy person. In this film, Miguel, his equivalent, he's got some control issues.
Sure.
And he's a bit of a dick. Pretty much completely reasonable, though.
No, I think that's my, not to say it's an issue with Miguel in this film, but yeah, he doesn't have that same unhinged push to the brink feel that Rhodes has. So when he does crazy stuff, it's like, oh, well, that was honestly fairly reasonable given your situation.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're mad at you is stupid.
That was just okay, this is lacking in comparison, but also, I don't feel like I should hate you.
No, because he does stuff that in his position, guess what? I'd probably do the same thing. And it sucks and it's horrible, but you got to do what you got to do in the apocalypse, you know?
Yep. And then there's Baca, who's the fill-in for... What's that character's name?
Miguel.
Is it Miguel?
Yes.
Great. Who's the fill-in for the male love interest for our main female character. And I guess he's a character.
Yeah, he's just sort of. I mean, that's kind of how Miguel felt in the original film, but Miguel actually did stuff too.
Baca just does nothing.
Nothing.
And then I think, there's all the army people
Mm-hmm.
who are just like less psychopathic in this film.
Yeah, they're actually just like normal people.
But I don't care about any of them.
No.
And then finally, there's Bub, who in this film is known as Max. And this is probably the biggest thing in this movie that I thought would annoy Bob.
I'm mad about it.
And this is kind of, I think, the big difference between this film and Day of the Dead. So rather than have Romero-style zombies in this film, they have fast zombies.
Yeah.
They can run around. They're kind of strong, which is, all well and good. I don't necessarily think it has its place in a Day of the Dead remake, but
no,
whatever. But Max is a little different. So they basically explain it away that he's only half of a zombie.
Yeah.
Which they call rotters in this film. I think they mention it at the beginning when we still see him alive, but he has 100 times the white blood cell count or something.
Yeah, he just has some weird thing going on with his blood.
Which, at the very least, I think is a good justification for this. But half of his body's still alive, so he's semi-conscious. And he uses that semi-consciousness to not only be much stronger and smarter than the rest of the zombies. I mean, at one point he does a Metal Gear Solid style vent crawl through.
That's what he infiltrates a military base.
But he also uses it to just be a perv to Zoe.
Just being a creep.
That's his character. He was a stalker that tried to assault Zoe when she was alive. Then he got bitten, and then when he sees her again, he just tries to do the same thing again.
He has a very one-track mind.
And, like I said, it's kind of close to Day of the Dead in that they're trying to find a cure for the zombie virus. Zoe's decided that Max is the cure.
Yeah.
And we got to keep him alive so we can find a vaccine. And hint, hint, that gets a lot of people killed.
A lot of people die for that.
Even in the end, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of a lot of our character similarities. But I just felt like all the characters were less well done than the originals.
They're also flat.
I think the only one out of that whole list I gave that I kind of liked was Max.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily like the character of Max.
No, he sucks.
I think he sucked, and I think he was a shittier version of Bub, who I think is much more effective. If you haven't listened to our Day of the Dead episode, that's the character that made Bob cry.
Because, okay, I'm going to go on this rant right now because I'm so mad about it. The reason Bub works in Day of the Dead, and the reason I like him so much, is because he is not evil in any, he is portrayed as a good character. And it is proof that they could maybe fix the zombie problem and make it a non-issue. Max just fucking sucks. I don't want him to succeed or survive at all. So all of the stuff he's doing with him keeping him alive just feels shitty. The reason I cried in Day of the Dead is because Bub discovers something horrible has happened to the man who he, basically thinks is his dad. And it's really sad. And he gets mad about it. And that's, so poignant to me. And in this, it's just oh, Max is trying to assault Zoe again? That's fucking fucked up, even though he's a zombie now. Come on, guys. You couldn't... There's nothing endearing or interesting about the character of Max in the same way that there's something cool and interesting about Bub. Because Bub feels he feels almost childlike with whimsy, because it's like he's learning stuff again, and that's cool. But Max just is evil.
Yeah, I mean, functionally speaking, there was really very little difference between Max pre and post bite.
Yeah.
Except for how he holds himself. And like I said, I don't like the character of Max, but I think he was portrayed well.
No,
I think
it's
the
a good
actor
performance.
did a good job. And so I do have to give props where props are due there.
And also, you lose all of the cool stuff by making Max inherently evil and doing bad fucked up shit. Where at the end of the movie, when Bub finally fucking wins and kills and shoots Rhodes and stuff, that's a moment of joy of oh, we're winning. But it's cool because you're rooting for the zombies for once, because Rhodes was the antagonist of the film, and in this case Max is the antagonist and he sucks, and I'm just yeah, sorry, I'm mad.
That's the most mad Bob's been so far. Yeah, so those are the kind of the comparative elements, and I think we can get back to just characters being stupid. And this was my real big issue with the film, is because I'm going to be honest here. I didn't like this film.
No.
but there was so little substance to it that I don't think I could even hate it. It was just kind of nothing. And like I said, it's kind of those issues I said before where I couldn't take the film like too seriously or get invested, combined with the fact that, like I said, characters are just stupid. There's just stupid things that happen in this movie, both related to characters and unrelated to characters, that make no sense. So right off the bat, Max is, a semi-sentient zombie, but for some reason he's pulling off these ninja moves that I don't think living Max
Could have
do.
possibly done, yeah.
Like we said, he sneaks into a military base, but somehow all these trained military personnel do not notice him.
Yeah. A zombie just walking around,
making loud noises and
killing people.
No one notices when people go missing or die.
Yep.
They're assumedly turned into zombies, and those zombies don't do anything until it's convenient to the plot, even though it's been over 12 hours.
It's been like days.
So there's little inconsistencies like that where it's like, okay, this is just bad writing.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's legitimately like, why the fuck did characters do this? I think the worst example is at one point, 2 characters run out into a swarm of zombies.
Yeah, and are fine, by the way.
And are fine because the zombies don't focus on them.
Which is insane.
Because plot.
Yep. And it's like, I get being afraid and wanting to run away, but you're going to run towards the zombies?
You had running away from a zombie?
Yeah, what?
Just lots of dumb stuff like that. Or they're keeping they're keeping Max alive because they need him for the cure, and then out of nowhere they just kill him.
Yep.
Because apparently we don't need that now.
Apparently it's fine now. Yeah,
even though 5 seconds ago we were screaming about how we needed him alive.
Because if we kill him, then we can't make the cure anymore.
I don't know. Do you have much else to say about this film? It was just so nothing.
So that is my big gripe is, look, I know I've kind of been shitting on this movie and talking about how much I don't like it. But I think my main issue with this film, and the reason it makes me so angry, is because it's functionally an okay movie, I guess. Like, there's nothing in it where I go, oh, well, that was, like, directly, like, atrocious.
Yeah. In fact, the practical effects, when we got them, were decent.
Cool. There was actually some cool zombie moments where I went, oh, that looks cool. Like, I appreciate that. And that's sort of my big thing is, if I were to take this away, change the title, just call it
Bloodline?
Generic zombie film. Yeah, sure. We'll call it Bloodline. I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't have hated it as much. The fact that they tacked on Day of the Dead as, like, the remake of this film sucks because it doesn't carry any of the cool stuff over from the first film, and it misses all of the tone and, like, build-up stuff that is in that first film. None of it hits here. We don't get any of that. Like, I would say the first film, while by the end it is a sort of 80s style action movie where you're just like shooting zombies for fun and it's kind of crazy and it's awesome. The first hour and a half of that movie is like character stuff. Like, it's all character piece. It's all character moments. There's some zombie stuff, but it sort of works as a background to push forward this idea of dread and like the world ending. And this movie doesn't have any of that. There feels like there's no stakes. There's no like sense of dread. I'm not ever afraid of the zombies. They don't seem intimidating. Like, it lacks everything that makes the first film good. So the fact that they tacked Day of the Dead title on this makes it worse, when in reality it's an okay film. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think not including the Day of the Dead tagline would have made it better, though. Because for everything that was okay, there was something that just ruined it.
Yeah.
Like, the example I gave was, the gore effects on the zombies were decent, but then every time someone gets bitten, like, a literal geyser of blood would spew out.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous.
And it just made you not take something seriously.
Because it looks cartoonish.
Or it's like, okay, these zombies are running fast, which is kind of cool, but then, they're not moving their arms when they run? Or, that one just burst through a window and grabs someone?
Off a bike?
I don't know. It was just like for every okay thing, something canceled it out. And I was just like, I don't care.
I guess my point is, if they had not included the Day of the Dead thing, I would have not hated it as much.
You just would have came in with less anger.
I would have been less mad, yeah. I would have been less mad and probably had a better time.
But you wouldn't feel better about the movie.
Probably not.
Okay. I guess you want to do recommendations then?
Look. I mean, if you just want like a generic zombie film, this is on God, so generic.
It feels like a generic, shitty modern zombie film.
Yep, and that if you're looking for that, that's exactly what this is. The only thing that's semi-interesting is the fact that we get a bub-like character in a smart zombie, and that's kind of I've really only seen a couple of zombie films that have done that before, so that's kind of cool, I guess. But I mean, I really don't have any other recommendations because I didn't particularly enjoy it.
Okay. I guess I'll do mine. If you're a fan of the Dead trilogy, whatever, you can check this film out. I think I've showed Bob before the very large diagram of all the films connected to the Living Dead franchise and everything. This is technically one of them. So if you want to cover those, you got to watch this one at some point. And I will say, from what I've seen, I haven't seen the other remake of Day of the Dead, but I think this one is functionally closer to being a better remake than the other one.
That's fucking crazy of you
So-
to say. Holy shit.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from the other one, and it looks like they just took the name of Day of the Dead, but it's a completely different movie,
See, that's honestly less upsetting.
which would have made you less upset, which
Yeah.
is why we watched this one. If you want a film set in a bunker, I mean, I don't think they really sell the bunker kind of feel,
No, not really.
but
Because they
it
just keep
is-
opening the doors.
They just keep opening the doors, but they don't do a good job of shooting the bunker to make it feel tight and claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And like there's a limited amount of space. So it didn't really sell it, but it is technically set there. And I do think that's an interesting setting. But I think the big one is if you want like just a shitty kind of generic zombie movie. This is what that is. It feels like a cheap zombie movie made by like Asylum or something.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's an intelligent zombie. I think that's a unique twist.
That is the unique twist, and that's...
That's probably the big thing for this film. I think that's in the trailers.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That kind of ruins it, in fact.
Him crawling through like vents and stuff.
Ugh.
Anyways, it's not great, but it is a zombie movie. It feels like a late stage zombie movie, like the kind of stuff that made everyone go, "We don't want too many more of these."
Yeah. Yeah.
On that note, rate it.
Okay. Look, I don't like it that much.
0.
0. No, I'm not going to hit it with a 0. Like I was saying, I think the big reason why I hated this movie so much is because it's tied to Day of the Dead, and that sucks. Like that really, it hurts it a lot because it's missing all of the things about that film that I like. And so coming in, I'm in a weird spot because objectively, I don't know how actually awful it is. There is some actually awful stuff, like the CGI is rough at some points. The dialogue is, some of the writing is just actually terrible. Some of the acting isn't great, but the ADR is also not helping that. I'll give it a 2. I think a 2 is fair, actually, in fact.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to give it a 2. Part of me wants to give it lower, but there was nothing that I was like, I hate this so much.
Yeah, that's my thing, is like there was nothing that happened where I went, I fucking absolutely despise that.
But it definitely, there was just some parts that were unacceptably bad.
Yeah, for sure.
To the point where I'm considering giving it a lower score. Because some things just were, again, just inexcusable. Even though the film as a whole wasn't, like, atrocious.
Yeah.
It was just like, how... I can see that you have a budget. You guys actually tried to make this film. How did this happen?
How did this get past so many people?
Like, okay, we mentioned that rat thing earlier.
Yeah.
That rat was so much worse than most of the stuff in this film.
Oh, no, it was bad. It looked like a
It looked like
still
it was
JPEG of
flying.
a rat, and they just slid it, like, across the screen.
But one of the big things that I think slid past, because it's in the script, and I was like, this makes no sense, is at one point, Miguel accuses Zoe of
Oh,
dating
yeah.
Max because Max carved her name into his arm, and it's like, what world do you guys live in where that makes sense?
Where it's like, yes, my show of love and affection. I carved my name into your arm.
That is what normal people do.
Yeah. No.
Not- it's just,
not a crazy person or anything. It's fine.
again, tons of weird stuff. I didn't hate them a bunch, but I'm going to go with the 2, but it is borderline, maybe a little bit lower.
That's totally fair, man. And I'm yeah.
But I don't think I despise this movie enough to give it a lower score.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch this
It just
again.
kind of felt
And I
like
don't want to.
nothing. It's free on Amazon Prime, though, guys. So like,
True. I guess if you want something
I'm
to
not
watch for free
upset
on Prime.
because I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
That being said, I guess we'll go to the outtakes,
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going to be in this time. We marked some stuff.
but we'll be back in a second.
Yeah, we'll be back in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Day of the Dead Bloodline so far. I don't like this movie. I think it really, really blows. But hopefully, you'll like the outtakes more than I like this film. This first clip is our reaction to one of my greatest fears and Max being a fucking creep.
I'm not going to show it, Bob. It's okay.
I don't like needles. Stop. Not mixed. That mixed with this is making me uncomfortable. Oh!
See? It's gone. It's gone.
Ah! Fuck you! God, I hate fucking needles so much. And that was just a gross statement.
Ugh.
This next clip is Ben and I losing our minds at how one of the characters sounds. What was that?
You know, everyone
None of us wanted to do that. What?
You know who he sounds like? Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. He does sound just like him. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Well, there is something we could mention, but it's never going to happen.
It'll happen eventually. If you've listened to some recent episodes, you know what it is. Otherwise, check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other sites. If you're checking us out on any of those platforms, please give us a quick rating or a review. That really helps us out with getting recommended to other people there. You could also maybe recommend us to a friend in real life. If you have those, that's kind of cool. Otherwise, we're also on YouTube, which, while not the best for audio-only content, is really nice to show us some support at. You know, we can see all your subscriptions, likes, stuff like that, and that really helps us know you guys are liking the podcast. Otherwise, there's a couple cool tools you might like. There's a search button, which lets you search all our episodes for things like movie titles, if you're curious if we've covered a piece. Or there's a bell button, which could let you get notified whenever we post something new, in case we post something out of our usual schedule. Aside from that, though, the big thing with YouTube is it's one of the two major places to communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video, if there's something you want to talk to us about there, or you can go over to Twitter, @BewareTheBoard, and go talk to Bob. Maybe send him pictures of how you've carved his name into your arm.
Oh, no.
Even better yet, just
No.
send him gifs of people getting, like, injected with
Oh,
needles.
God, I hate needles so fucking much. I forgot that happened to you just met. Ugh. Fuck you, Ben. Fuck you for mentioning that. Piece of shit. God. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter, @BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that week's episode, which is a hidden movie cover you can reveal, so you can watch the film before we do. So whenever you listen to the episode, you don't get any spoilers, and we're being vague about stuff, you know what we're talking about. Then, on Fridays, or whatever other day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode on our Twitter. So if you ever miss an upload or want to know something up, there's always a link there. Last thing, we have a TikTok, @BewareTheBoard, and we do YouTube Shorts
What?
on YouTube. So if you want to support the show and like short form content, check us out there, @BewareTheBoard on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts.
Or if you want some actual new content,
Shut up.
I made a meme
That's
last
true.
week
It's on our Twitter.
for 4th of July. It definitely didn't get posted then because Bob has forgotten.
Well, I put it on our Twitter when you sent it to me.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be on YouTube at some point. but,
Yeah, I just forgot to do that part.
I make new content.
Ben makes new content for the show. I do not. So, okay. Ben, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time for the wrap up.
Yeah, see you guys next time.